Remember that you are constantly evolving. If you don't take anything else from this message today, you are constantly evolving. For some of you, these evolutions may come as surprises similar to the way a volcano occurs. But that's why it's important to connect the mind to the body, to the spirit. We can be aware of ourselves at different depths. Number 10. This card presents itself to you today, representing stage 1 of grief, denial. During this stage, we may not fully be able to conceptualize that something has been lost, either in its material form or within us. Grief is experienced just as equally when we lose a loved one as when we lose a piece of ourselves. Pulling this card challenges your sixth sense to acknowledge what you may be refusing to see clearly. Acknowledge what you may be refusing to see clearly. Challenges your fifth sense to acknowledge the agony you may be feeling, even when your intellect will not allow it. Fourth sense, to recognize the pungent taste as you continue to speak false truths in the midst of illusions. Third sense, to indulge in the scent of cedar and its practical ability to improve cerebral activity and ease any tension. Second sense, to hear the sound of your inner self crying out to your higher self for guidance. Your fifth sense, to see the truth in the situation and understand that a loss has been experienced. Contrary to what we want to believe, denial is a choice that we make to not accept or explore what we know to be truth. Sometimes acceptance is easier to reach as the last stage of grief, depending upon the nature of the loss. Typically, however, when we are forced to move forward with life without something or someone we value, the transition can be difficult, to say the least. Denial is also the state that we sit in when we know what a relationship Denial is also the state that we sit in when we know that a relationship is over but choose to remain involved. Whether platonic or romantic, relationships where love is involved can be difficult to end or accept as over. Love is a powerful concept, but so is attachment. At the young age of 16, I found myself in my first bout of denial about a relationship. It was my first time engulfed in a feeling that I could only describe as love. As the relationship began to deteriorate, it was difficult to conceptualize its ending. I remained in it actively, ignoring the facts because my feelings had more of an influence. It's this imbalance that often gets us into trouble when it's time to make important decisions. Denial often leads us to making a range of poor decisions before we refuse to account for the facts that make us cringe. I remained in that relationship longer than I should have from one perspective. Denial led to poor decision making, and poor decision making ultimately led to prolonged grief. Facing hard truths is the only way that we can grow. This is not only the case when a relationship is ending, but transforming in some way. Being in denial about a necessary change is making a subconscious choice to feed our stagnation. What false beliefs are keeping me from evolution?